Hey, this is Tiqqle, and in this video we're going to be going over Stormbringer build. It's finally out. The talents are here. We're going to go ahead and go through it. This is going to be my first kind of playthrough of it. I'll also make future videos of what I think should happen. We did review this all on Twitch and on YouTube on a stream. I'll put the links down below for those if you want to see my live reaction. We tested this for hours. When it first came out, we went through a lot of different ideas and we bug tested a lot. We put in a lot of tickets. So what we're going to do is we're going to go quickly through what it is, because I know you're probably already reading it. We're going to go through Enhance, Ellie, each of them, what my initial reaction is, and what my thoughts are with them. There's a lot of good callouts to make, but just know that it is not fully implemented. There are a lot of bugs still, but let's go ahead and talk about it. We're going to start with Elemental Shaman. Let's just go through what it does. Tempest, every 400 Maelstrom, replaces your lightning bolt with Tempest. Tempest does a certain amount of damage and to your main target, and then also cleaves on targets around you. We don't know how many targets yet. We hope it's not capped on how many targets it hits. But it is a 2-second cast, and know that cast time does not reduce with haste. It does not work with Stormkeeper, which also was a bug ticket I put in because that's BS. Unlimited power. Spending Maelstrom grants you 3% haste for 15 seconds. Stacking, gaining a new stack does not refresh the duration. This is actually pretty cool for Ellie because Earthshock's 50 Maelstrom, and if I pull my Maelstrom to 150, I can quickly get a 9-second buff, 9% haste buff for 15 seconds, as well as, with more Maelstrom spending, this can get up pretty high, and it's actually pretty good, I think, for Ellie in itself. Next is increases the critical strike chance of nature damage by 10%, and increases the, the chance by 10%, and the critical strike damage of your nature spells by 5%. Obviously, this build's about lightning, but also remember that Earthshock is also nature. Your nature damage critical strikes reduce the target's movement speed by 50% by 3 seconds. All right, just kind of flavor. Then you get you get supercharged. Lightning bolt and chain lightning elemental overloads have a 50% chance to cause an additional overload. This is very cool. This means more Maelstrom generation, and it means kind of again like more flow with your abilities in terms of lightning bolt and chain lightning. Chain lightning also is a beautiful ability. We like that it could overload an additional time just from taking this. This really kind of made me feel like artifact weapon type stuff. The next one's an option. One is Storm Swell. When Tempest only strikes a single target, gain 30 Maelstrom. The alternative, which I think you're going to be taking more often than not, is when Tempest strikes more than one target, your next 3 Chain Lightning spells become instant cast and deal 75% increased damage. Now, this is pretty interesting. You're like, whoa, that's pretty cool. If you compare it to Stormkeeper, Stormkeeper gives you 2 instant casts, and those Chain Lightnings are buffed by 100. Wait, yeah. I was about to say, wait. No, they don't actually get buffed. So this is the only thing that is actually buffing Chain Lightning, right? So plus 75% damage on that and increased... instant cast. So that's pretty awesome in terms of getting the ball rolling for Maelstrom generation, for pulls, for momentum in keys, as well as, potentially PvP. We're not sure yet on the damage and the tuning of it yet. So we'll have to see. The last one over here, which is also, I think, a pretty good one, gain 1 stack of Stormkeeper every 50 seconds. Okay, they took that from a tier set. Not bad. Next, almost the last row here, Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning, and Earthquake damage increased by 15%. Very straightforward. Now, this one is key to this hero talents, but it is not implemented. Lightning Rod targets now take 20% damage, 20% of the damage that Tempest deals, and Tempest also applies Lightning Rod effect. So that also, it's not yet implemented. Is it going to be that big of a deal? Maybe. You would think that the Lightning Bolt related build would use Lightning Rod, so we'll have to see. That's not here for testing yet. This, the last node here that's a choice node is Nature's Protection. Targets struck by your Tempest deal 10% less damage for 6 seconds. And then Surging Currents after your Tempest, use your next Chain Heal or Healing Surge becomes instant and does not cost mana. That is kind of nice. As you have noticed up until now, and including the last one, there is no defensive. There's no increased damage reduction, nothing like that. No magic defense, physical defense, nothing like that, which actually makes me a little sad. Last talent, the capstone, is Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning. Have a chance to strike your target for 5.5k nature damage. Every 3 times this occurs, your next Lightning Bolt will be replaced by Tempest. So beyond the 400 Maelstrom, which does seem to be quite a bit for being able to cast a spell that doesn't do that much damage, you will be able to get this by just using Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, which promotes the use of these abilities. Now, I don't know yet how do overloads affect this. So if I get a Chain Lightning and I cast it, it overloads, and it potentially overloads twice. Could it just instantly give me a Tempest? I'm not sure. I don't think it's quite, I'm not sure if it's working, to be honest. And I haven't been able to really sense that out. So that's the deal. That's the tree. We're going to go into how it feels now. I'm just going to be using this build. I do want to just, again, let you know that it doesn't work with Surge of Power. That's bugged. I've put in a request that make it work. The cast time of Tempest does not go down with Storm Elemental. I said that was a bug, because if it doesn't, that's very sad, especially because it doesn't do giga damage. That's one of the biggest complaints I heard today through chat is it doesn't do crazy damage. It should do crazy damage. You're going to hard cast that puppy for 2 seconds. Are you kidding me? So those are the 2 big complaints. The other complaint, and you'll see, is that the visual is not exciting. A lot of people in the chat said this should be a storm. This is called Stormbringer. Where's the storm? You just have Tempest, right? So it's a little depressing on that front. Blizzard, please make the animation a storm. The chat wants tornadoes. Please include a tornado. They will lose their mind. People will go crazy. But yeah, so I literally took notes. So no storms. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It does not overload. Stormkeeper does not affect it. It does not work with Flash of Lightning. There is a lot of shit that is not working with this puppy. So just keep that in mind, and hopefully it will be fixed in the near future. Let's go ahead and show you what it looks like. That's what you want to see anyway. So what I'm going to do, again, it can proc in 2 ways. One is I spend Maelstrom. What a beautiful thing. And then eventually, if I spend 400 Maelstrom, I'll get it. Or there's a chance when I press Lightning Bolt. By the way, I'm using Lightning Rod talent. That's not actually from the Hero Talents. All right, and there you go. There's my buff for 30 seconds. Lightning Bolt is replaced by Tempest. There it is. I hard cast. And you might say, wow, that cast looks like it's gray. Yeah, it's uninterruptible. So that is nice. You could probably, for PvP in theory, but it doesn't do any damage. It doesn't do any damage. But anyway, if I use it, now I get 2 buffs. Your next Chain Heal, etc. is an instant cast, as well as 3 free Chain Lightnings. It says 300, but it's bugged, as everything is right now. We spend, we Earthshot, or we Chain Lightning, we spend, so you get all those. And then I can also use Stormkeeper and do it again. Oh, and I have another Tempest, so I use Tempest. This is where things kind of get a little wonky, because I have Arc Discharge and I have Stormkeeper. It uses both. I think that's also a bug, but anyway. Oh, another Tempest. Let's spend it. So the flow is there. I'm not going to, there's no if, and, or buts about that. It does augment your flow. I'm not using AoE abilities like Earthquake, but yeah. But that's pretty much it. There's another Tempest. Okay, we use, again, 2-second cast is Depression. My 2 biggest requests for Blizzard, remove the cast time. It doesn't need to have a cast time. There's no reason, man. Just give us some power and make it hit way harder and make it look sexy as hell with a storm. It should be a storm. Okay. I would say Lightning Rod. By the way, I think I'm not doing it justice. So let me just quickly adjust this. Sorry. Because I think I'm making it look cooler than it is. So let's go ahead again. I'm gonna get. I don't mean that to be a jerky thing to say, but I'm gonna go ahead and get it. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna show it to you up close and personal. Okay, here it is. That's it. So I think before you might have been seeing the Lightning Rod. The Lightning Rod makes it look actually cooler than it is. So now so my initial thoughts on this, and again, I'm not going to monologue that long. We have to get to enhance, but, it's cool for PvE. I think it's cool for Mythic Pluses. I think you do get some augmentation here with additional overloads, with increased damage, with the Lightning Rod effect amplifying here, with the free Chain Lightnings. So it is making your life better, and it's interesting. Also, we haven't done Lightning builds in a long time. We've only been doing Lava Burst builds, so that will also be interesting. I think the biggest faults are visual damage, the fact there's a cast time, and the fact that it's not working at all with the Elemental Shaman tree. Huge challenges, but those are the big ones that need to happen. And I really think if they could make it a tornado or a storm or something, people, it's amazing what visuals will do. So it definitely needs that. When I look at Shadow Priests and what they got, Warlocks, Fire Mages, we see beautiful things. We need beautiful things here, Blizzard. We need it. People were saying, look at this animation inside this like icon in the middle of my screen. They're like, dude, just make it look like that. Now, with that being said, that's all I'm going to do for Ellie. If you want to see any more, definitely come by my stream or ask me any questions. Let's go ahead and go to Enhance because I'm going to do more videos about suggestions in a more formalized way. This is just day one, so there's a lot of excitement and people want to see what's going on. So Ellie, I just mentioned what I think about it. Let's go ahead and switch to Enhance. Now Enhance, largely a lot of these. Okay, take it easy. For Enhance, I mean, things are pretty much the same as what you just read.
I can't put that there. I can't put that there.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Oh, there we go. Okay, all right. So it's pretty much the same thing, but look, we're going to run through the talents again because it is important that you understand the difference for Enhance. Again, a lot of things don't work, so keep that in mind. And Totemic is not in the game. Now, Tempest, okay? Now here it's 40 Maelstrom weapon stacks being consumed, not 400 Maelstrom. Every 400 Maelstrom weapon stacks spent replaces Lightning Bolt with Tempest. Now, there is a 2-second cast, but as an Enhanced Shaman, I'm never casting Lightning Bolts. I'm waiting for my Maelstrom weapon stacks to get up to at least 5, and then I get an instant cast out of it, and that same thing works for Tempest, which is very satisfying. Also, in that sense, it could do Cleave, hopefully infinite target Cleave. We do know Chain Lightning is capped at, I think it's 5 targets. Unlimited Power works the same way, but in this case, you can't really pull Maelstrom quite the same way with an Enhanced Shaman, kind of, but not really. So this is, I think, a little bit less valuable, but still good. Again, same abilities here, increasing crit damage by 10, increasing, crit chance by 10, damage by 5, nature damage crits, reduce movement speed, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning have a chance to refund 3 Maelstrom weapon stacks. This does not work. But keep this in mind because you might start to see some synergies here. And I think there is a lot of synergy for Enhanced Shaman. When Tempest only strikes 1 target, gain 3 stacks of Maelstrom weapon. That's also, again, you can see that they're feeding you a lot of Maelstrom weapon stacks, so you can keep lightning bolting, which is, again, buffed crit strike and crit damage, as well as giving you haste, as well as reducing, whatever, right? So it's all kind of working together, as well as Tempest summons a Nature Feral Spirit for until canceled. So English is not the best here, but still decent. Crash Lightning, Chain Lightning, Earthquake, 50% damage buff. Awesome. This does not work at all, Conductive Energy, so don't worry. But this would be a big deal for Enhance, I think. I think this would be a differentiator here. And then also over here, targets struck by your Tempest deal 10% less damage, or again, getting a free heal with no mana cost, which I think is a big deal for Enhance. And then lastly, again, Storm Strike, Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning have a chance to strike your target for a certain amount of damage. Every 3 times this occurs, your next Lightning Bolt is replaced by Tempest. So very important. I'm going to just switch this. Very good to understand that. And again, the build I'm going here, nothing really specific. I do have buffed dogs. I'm not going to go Primordial Wave for this initial demo, but to be honest, Primordial Wave is a possible option. I will just tell you, a few things that you should know. Tempest, when it replaces Lightning Bolt, does not follow all your flame shocks when you Primordial Wave. That's a little sad. I don't know if that's intentional. It could be. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm not going Overflowing Maelstrom because I want to spend more time spending Maelstrom because, again, I can get it refunded and it can generate, especially on single target, which I think could be pretty cool. It's going to make Lightning Bolt do more damage. I do think that there's an issue here or there was an opportunity for Blizzard to make the build simpler, and like Enhanced Shaman simpler, and I don't think it really did that. But anyway, those are not my wolves, so I'm gonna go ahead and go over here. But yeah, so what we'll do now is let's go ahead and get the buffs going. There's also another bug that I'm getting Stormkeeper. That's a bug, by the way, so don't get excited. But anyway, so what does that look like? What does that feel like? Let's go ahead and just go through the motions. Again, it's about spending Maelstrom, or it's about doing. There it is. So there's Tempest. So I spend Tempest. Now I get those 3 Chain Lightnings that are buffed. Now again, they will still spend Maelstrom weapon stacks. You can see them being spent, but that's okay. I just got another Tempest, so I'll spend my other 2, Chain Lightnings, and then oh no, I need stacks. I need Maelstrom weapon stacks. Spend and then your dogs come out. So what does this do for enhance? You can see I got another Tempest one. Again, it's all kind of potentially luck here. Because again, if my chain lightnings are hitting, it could be doing, okay, another Tempest. So again, every time I Tempest, I get dogs. So you start to see some synergy happen pretty quickly for enhance. I do think that it does start to make more sense for them. So again, I start to get some dogs rolling, but again, some part of it is RNG. I'm also hitting the PvP dummy on accident, but I don't think that'll have a huge impact here. So anyway, so that's what it kind of looks like. Again, dogs are kind of there. Let me show you also there is one good thing I do believe, which is Ascendance. Ascendance and how this works with Thorm's Invocation. Lightning, this is a talent we currently have. Lightning Bolt, Chain Lightning damage is increased. While Ascendance is active, Wind Strike automatically consumes 5 Maelstrom weapon stacks to discharge a Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning based on whichever one you use. So we use Lightning. Actually, I don't know if we use Lightning Bolt next first. So let's go ahead and just use that. All right, so now this is on a single target situation, and like what it could look like if we kind of get the ball rolling. So let's go ahead and just, there you go. Let's go ahead and just press, and it should be spending Lightning Bolt. Oh, I didn't even press it, my bad. So there we go. Lightning Bolt's going to start being spent, and I'm going to spend it actually on the off global because my haste is not good enough. Whoops. That was kind of garbage. But this is, yeah, you start to see the potential like ramping. The thing is, the only thing is like, oh cool, Tiqqle, like I'm gonna be able to Tempest Strike a lot, but why do I want to Tempest Strike? Well, it gives me more Feral Spirits. If I start ramping those up, that's gonna ramp my damage. And it gives me Lightning Rod, okay, sure. But it's like it's kind of like Tempest itself is not a crazy damage ability. So you almost wonder like, wait, why am I doing this? Is it just enhancing my rotation and my flow? And the answer to that's yes. I do think so, mainly from, single target, because you get refunding Maelstrom stacks, as well as like generating them. And then for AoE, for Mythic Pluses, you're going to get Chain Lightning. So that's going to all amplify. It's going to be this, Lightning Vortex. But it doesn't look amazing, right? It could be good AoE. Right, but it's not like why am I doing this? Like, is it something I really want to get to do? Not really. It just fits into the flow. So I think that's something for me too. It kind of goes back to like other feedback people had. Like number one, like okay, cool, but there's so many things in the Shaman tree that are just like kind of being neglected, and they're kind of like, well, how does this fit in? Like Doom Winds, Wind Fury Totem. Ice Strike, like all those things. I'm not trying to say that it should fit in here, but just from like a design of like, what does this do? It kind of means like, all right, you're never going to take those things. Primordial Wave, if it doesn't spread Tempest, you're never going to take those things. And I actually don't think they're going to enable that. So I think there's definitely a lot to think about for the enhanced side. I think enhance is going to be a little bit like, it's going to be more natural. It's not going to augment how you play as much. It's just going to fit into your existing rotations and stuff like that and make it potentially smoother for single target, which has always been a challenge for enhanced shamans, at least for me anyway. And now Ellie, on the other hand, I do think that's going to augment your rotation. It's going to make things much smoother. It's going to adjust how you do rotation, all that stuff. And I do think you're going to have to min-max. And this is what people won't like, is you're going to have a weak aura, and it's going to have to track how much Maelstrom weapons and how much Maelstrom you've spent. Because if you're spending it, like let's say I'm using Enhance, and I spent 37 Maelstrom weapon stacks, and then all of a sudden I get a proc that allows me to use Tempest. Well, that's a kind of a bad example because it's going to go over. But basically, you can like edge that threshold, right? So you can use Tempest, quick, dump those Chain Lightnings or the single target spells, and then get the next one quickly. Enhance, I don't think it'll be as min-maxy, but for Ellie, absolutely it will be. End a pull close to 400. Start it, go over. Start it, get a proc, spend those, and then go over 400, and then you can spend those again. So min-maxing that threshold will be kind of like, it's going to be kind of weird. There will be some like, some finesse there, but yeah, so that's what I think about it off the rip. That's what it looks like. Wanted to show you very quickly. I'm gonna make more videos on feedback you guys have given me, but I think I've expressed a lot of those viewpoints already. My biggest concern right now is that Elemental Shaman does not have a good looking PvP spec for damage. Farseer is going to be dampening, I think. Stormbringer, you're never going to cast a 2-second cast, even if it's uninterruptible, to do anything significant. And why would you? It doesn't buff anything else. It's really just for for streamlining AoE rotation and single target. This ability of Cross Enhance and Stormbringer, Ellie, needs to do a burst damage amount. Like, you're fighting to get to that threshold so it can pound someone with lightning. It needs to look like it pounds them. It needs to feel like it pounds them. And that's going to be, I think that's the most important thing here. And of course, everyone's going to say, it's alpha. You can't talk about tuning yet. There's no time for that. No, it is time for that. It needs to feel significant. Right now, it does not. What feels significant is the cast time, as well as, like, you're fighting to get to this thing, but why? So Ellie, I'm worried about not having a great spec for PvP at all. I do think for PvE, it's going to be fine. For Enhance, I think, again, we only have Stormbringer, which I think does make, this could be potentially good for PvP, I think, because of some of the things that it does, as well as like Totemic, we kind of know because I have a video on the data mining stuff, but we don't know how it's fully going to flow. But with that being said, I just want to do a quick video, relatively quick, about all the different things about Enhance and Ellie, Stormbringer. Let me know what you think down below in the comments. Give me a rating, 0 to 10, what you think of this, especially if you're a shaman out there, and definitely put posts on the forums, give feedback. We need to be vocal because this is the only time we have to get a change in effect. Otherwise, you know, this is it. This is it. We're all going to reroll Ret Paladins. But with that being said, we'll see you on the next one or on stream every day, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at twitch.tv/TiqqleThis. We'll see you in the next one. Bye now.